Well, welcome to Blur's Day of the umpteenth of whatever in lockdown, quarantine, live. Yeah, I decided to get rid of the Sarah Connor Terminator meets Muslim look that I've been rocking because I was having a little bit of a day. Wednesday's my production day for Waterway Guide News. I put out our national newsletter and it was a little fraught today, but I made critical error, which I think all of us may have made at some point or another throughout this lockdown, and that was that I decided to watch the live stream of the COVID-19 updates, first from our governor and then from someone else. And I made a bigger mistake, which was that I put my oar in to the troubled waters and I just was feeling like happy or something. I don't know. I just wanted to say something positive when the governor was speaking. So I just typed in a little thank you so much for saving lives and helping our state, Papa, And no less than 42 people, yes, the magic number today was 42 Facebook users felt the need to tell me just exactly what they thought of me as just a terrible person who was stupid and critically lacking in my ability to perceive reality. And it made me think, and it made me choose these stories for tonight. So tonight is a little bit of perception is reality. It's also reached the point of lockdown where, if you have something sparkly, it's time to pull it out of the closet and wear it. Ain't nobody looking. Put it on. Okay? So that's where we are. You can see it, so we're good. So perception is reality, and I could have decided that all the people that said those things, all 42 of them, were terrible people. That was my immediate perception of them. But I think the reality is that they're just really, really broken at this point. We all are. We're freaking out about finances and how to take care of our families and our kids and our businesses that are coming apart at the seams and what we're going to do with this stimulus check that we've spent 17 times already in our minds. So I decided that I was going to start with a story called Phoenix Rising. And here's our Phoenix. So, Phoenix lived in a canyon of orange rock at the end of the desert. He was a tough old bird. In his mind, life had always been cruel to him. His lovers had turned on him. His wealth had never materialized, and every day was a new insult. When the sun rose and shone across the arid terrain, the bird was taken with a fit of pique. "Oh, the sun shines to mock me," it cried. "It blinds me, it bakes me, it dries away the water, it drives away all other life, and I have no companionship." A scorpion scuttled across the bird's path and paused to listen. "You could stand in the shade of the cliffs," the spiny one said. You drink from the springs that are over there in the caves. Also, just saying, good morning once in a while. Now, that would be a really nice change of pace." The phoenix became so enraged that it just burst into flames and fell to dust. A few moments later, it rose again. "You are another curse on me," the bird spat. "You only tell me these things to anger me to the point of self-destruction." The scorpion looked up at the bird. I have never seen such a waste of talent in all my life." "How dare you insult me?" the bird raged. The scorpion leapt onto the bird and stung it until again the bird burst into flames of rage and fell back down to dust. Again, the bird rose and stalked over to the scorpion. Why did you do that? It screeched. Oh, just a lesson to show how your anger hurts you more than it does me, the scorpion said casually. The bird was absolutely beside itself with anger and confusion. Can't you see what a horrible life the creator of all things has given me? The bird raged. I have been cursed to die 1,000 deaths. There is no worse fate. None greater, countered the scorpion. I would gladly change places with you. What do you mean, you poisonous insect? Demanded the bird. The scorpion said, I am. I'm filled with poison, but so are you. My poison kills but once. From yours, you yourself die 1,000 deaths. He went on, you have a soul filled with anger and hatred for all things. Yet the creator of all things has given you eternal life. You think this gift is a curse, but it's not. The bird was just dumbfounded. Your power to regenerate was not given so that you could survive self-destruction, the scorpion said. You could die for your beliefs and rise again. You could give love to the world until you fall to ashes and then rise again to greater acts of glory. What a gift! For a moment, all was silent. Phoenix spread its wings and it flew straight up into the clear blue sky. As if for the first time, he looked down and saw the colors of the earth below. He heard the hum of insects and felt the thrill of the wind. A great cry emerged from the bird. Forgive me! He called up to the heavens. Phoenix exploded like a firework, raining down on the sands, and then he rose from the desert floor. Scorpion asked, have you seen the light yet? Yes, the bird said softly. It glows from every grain of sand in this desert. What desert? Said the scorpion. The bird looked around and saw lush green fields. The scorpion was gone, and in its place was a small gray dove. Where did the scorpion go? The phoenix asked. The bird stretched its wings. I'm here. The desert's here too, beneath the meadow. It's all in the way you choose to view it. You have simply chosen a new way today. Will I ever go back to the desert? The phoenix asked in distress. His companion shrugged. Every day, you choose where you awake. Will it be the desert or the meadow? Will you choose the way you see your fellows as scorpions or doves? But I only want to live in the meadow with the doves, worried the phoenix. The dove smiled. Then, by all means, do. So, our second and final reading for tonight is What's Good for Goose? And a quick sip of water for the person whose stomach is growling. At winter's end, the geese flew north. They settled into the area around a pretty little lake and set about making the place home. Once they were settled, the female geese began to lay eggs in the nests they had carefully prepared. Every year it was the same, thought May. Every year the other geese would lay their eggs and be rewarded with a string of fuzzy little goslings to follow them about. And every year May lost a little more hope as her nest remained empty. She had so much love to give. She pictured being the best mother. She would read them stories and wipe their tears. She would rock them and sing to them and teach them to fly long distances. Her heart ached from the love and longing inside. Just wasn't meant to be. Her partner honked. Some geese, they're just born to be parents, and some aren't. Why don't you just go over and help the others, with their chicks? That would make you feel better, wouldn't it? This suggestion always made May's emotions churn. It made her angry and jealous to think of being with someone else's goslings. It made her hurt deep inside, and it broke her heart a little with each passing season. May found ways to pull herself away from that hurt. She did it by pulling away from her fellow geese. When the young mothers and their small charges waddled past, she would make tisking noises and turn up her bill. She snorted when a particularly noisy brood went past. Mother ought to be able to keep her children in line. Such behavior is just unseemly. Ha! She exclaimed. When a group of older goslings found a muddy puddle to play in and became drippy messes, then she gabbled. Where is their mother? Where? Who is in charge here? Oh, what a filthy mess. Filthy! I am so glad that I never chose to have any little ruffians like that. Her partner watched in sorrow as his mate became old before her time. Her feathers turned white, and her short-sightedness required her to wear little wiry spectacles. She found fault with absolutely everyone and everything. You spend too much of your time just floating about on the lake and daydreaming, she snagged at her spouse. In her mind, May blamed him for their lack of children. She thought that if he'd wanted them as badly as she had, then, they would have had a pack of them by this time. This was a better alternative to admitting in her heart that maybe she had failed, because that's what she believed. Oh, May hated herself. She was so deeply angry with herself that she just could not contain it. Her contempt for her body's perceived failure spewed out onto everyone around her. Yet, even as she chided and criticized, she wished she could stop her own words. But the dam in her soul had burst one day, and there was just no repairing it now. After a while, it seemed to May as if she were no longer herself, and so had no responsibility for her behavior. The real May seemed to be trapped, floating in a bubble, hovering above her. And from that bubble, she could see very clearly her missteps and bad deeds. But she was powerless to stop herself. And she had removed herself from life and left behind an empty shell. The shell had cracked, and the sharp fragments pricked at everyone who came near her. The young mothers all steered clear of May and her sharp eye for faults. Her partner flew away. May was all alone. She told herself that this was a good thing. Having others around was just a nuisance. The bubble that contained her true nature began to float higher and farther away until it seemed it would just wink out of existence. But one evening, after a particularly annoying day, May sat by the lake. It was getting on to fall, and she knew she must soon migrate south with the others, but she was tired. So tired that she fell asleep and began to dream. In her dream, she saw herself as a gosling. She was in a meadow filled with wildflowers. The sun was shining, and she was chasing after butterflies, and one particularly beautiful white butterfly caught her eye, and she followed it across the meadow to the edge of a dark forest. The butterfly flitted high into the sky, and if she had chosen to spread her wings, she could have followed it, but instead, she was drawn to the wood. She thought the cool darkness was appealing. Owls hooted, made her jump. Gnarled trees seemed to be reaching out to grab her, and every step she took was on boggy and acrid-smelling ground. The butterfly was gone. She called out to it, but she was surprised to hear herself calling her own name. May! May! Where are you? She cried into the dark wood. To her relief, she heard her own voice calling back from the other side of a big pile of bracken. She followed the voice until she came through the woods and into a clearing. She shrieked when she saw the horrible, old-looking crone before her. The old goose was white with age, bent with loathing and blind with self-pity. "Ah, so, finally found me," he said. "Like what you see?" The young May shook with fear. "What do you want?" she asked. "I want to be you again," the crone said. "I want to be young and filled with hope. I want to chase butterflies and read stories to goslings, and I think I want to be loved again." In her dream, May looked at the old crone and felt pity for her, and even some love. She went to her, and the two geese, young and old, held each other for a very long while. Then the young May felt the old crone go limp in her arms. The poor thing had died quietly in her sleep. When she awoke, May was crying softly. It took her some time to gather herself before she could stand and move about. She went to the edge of the lake and splashed some cool water into her eyes, and then she looked down at her own reflection with a sigh. She saw her white feathers and her stooped posture and her spectacles. Out of the corner of her eye, she caught the reflection of a white butterfly, and she jerked her head up just in time for the gossamer creature to land right on her bill. "Are you going to follow me around, as you once did?" the butterfly asked in a whispery voice. "Will you now go where I lead?" "Am I still dreaming?" May asked. The butterfly batted its wings and produced a gust of wind worthy of a summer storm. "No," it said. "You've finally awakened." May considered. "Yes," she said. "I think I will follow wherever you go." So the butterfly led her to a field with all the geese and their goslings where they were settled. Young mothers struggled to entertain their children as they prepared for the long journey to the south. The butterfly settled in the middle of the circle of young birds. May followed and sat beside it, and the butterfly flitted up and rested right on her shoulder. "Rock me," cried a little girl. "My mom is too busy. Will you rock me?" No, me," shouted another. "Tell us a story," honked a young boy. Without thinking twice, May gathered up the little ones and began to rock them and croon. The butterfly began to whisper in her ear the most beautiful story, which she repeated word for word to the children. And so it was that May became the storyteller and caretaker for all of the little ones. The butterfly would always appear on her shoulder to tell her new tales to pass on. Two geese, happening upon this scene one afternoon, were moved to discuss what they saw. "Isn't that old May?" said one. "I thought she hated children." The other said, Oh, goodness, no. She has changed entirely. You will never see her alone again. They flock to her in droves. She's so beloved by all of the little ones that we've taken to calling her Mother Goose." Well, twist ending. So tonight, perception is reality. Let's see what we wake up to tomorrow. Will it be a desert full of scorpions or a meadow full of doves? No matter where anybody else wakes up, you wake up where you choose. Night.